Hey everybody, it's Corey from Netta's Nursery in Posen, Michigan, and today I get to tell you all about the new varieties of annuals that we're introducing this spring at Netta's. And this is pretty exciting because there's well over 30 varieties of new to market plants that we're going to be introducing. So that means 2022 is the very first year that they're available to the public. So that's a pretty high number of brand new plants. And then we also have a whole lineup of plants that we're introducing that maybe have been around a little bit longer, but still relatively new and definitely new to Netta's. So let me start with one that the hummingbirds love, because that's one of the criteria this year when we were picking new plants, pollinator friendly plants, and hummingbirds were number one in requests from our customers. So the first one I'm going to tell you about is going to be the Hummingbird Lunch. Now this is a CUPHEA. CUPHEA has this nice trumpet-like flower. It grows kind of in a mounding and trailing kind of pattern. We've carried Vermillionaire for several years, and let me tell you, I put this on my patio this last year. I've used those little plastic hummingbird feeders before. They worked and everything, but you have to keep them full, you have to clean them. Put just one of these plants on the porch or on the back deck, and there was hummingbirds there every single day throughout the summer. As soon as it starts flowering, and it flowers continuously, so you don't have to worry about that. It's just a fantastic addition. Well, Hummingbird Lunch is a new variety. So Vermillionaire is the one we've carried before. Hummingbird Lunch is going to be a little bit more of a cherry red, they call it. So Vermillionaire is more orange. This one has a little bit different color. And then there's a third variety. It's not new to the market, but it's called Happy Face, and that one's got kind of a hot pink and yellow color. So if you're into hummingbirds, you're going to really love this one, and it's an easy plant, drought tolerant. So if you miss watering, it's going to be friendly for that. Loves the heat. So easy plant to grow. It does get pretty big though, so keep that in mind. Now I want to move on to salvias. Salvias are another favorite for the hummingbirds. The one that I want to tell you about first is called Hummingbird Falls. Now Hummingbird Falls is very unusual in the fact that it is more of a trailing and mounding type of salvia, whereas most salvias have been bred to be taller, more spires, more spikes, more flower spikes. This one here, it does kind of more of that Gidget hairdo where it kind of grows up and then curves out. Hummingbirds love it. I think the bees love it. It's just a really good pollinator plant, and this one's really good for hanging baskets. Some of the other varieties just get too tall if you put it in a hanging basket. This one's really great for that, and it's brand new this year. Another new variety is very similar to it if you like pink. Grows similar but totally different family, so they're not going to be matching. It's called Unplugged Pink, and that one's from Proven Winners. That's another one, beautiful pink color, lots of flowers, really a great addition. You can put that one in baskets and in containers as well, and it's going to grow really well for you. So those are some more hummingbird ones. Another variety that we're adding to the salvia lineup, it's called Rockin'Playin the Blues. That's from Proven Winners as well. That one's not new. It's relatively new, but it's not new to market. That's going to be our largest salvia. That one gets really tall, really a big plant. So another new addition, it would be similar to the Mystic Spires, which we used to carry, but we discontinued that one, and we moved on to now the Playin the Blues. So that's another one. Great thing about all three of these varieties is that they have really dark calyxes. And the calyx is the part of the flower where the blossom attaches to the flower. The good thing about that is if they're really dark like that and they have color, when the blossom falls off, there's still color on it, so it looks like it's still flowering even after it loses its blossoms. So that's a really good thing about some of these new salvias that they've been developing. You're not under so much pressure to keep them deadheaded, to keep them looking tidy. These are going to look good even if you skip the deadheading. So they can benefit from a little deadheading, but if you miss it, don't worry about it. Next up is the brand new JAMESBRITTENIA from Proven Winners. Completely new to market this year. And JAMESBRITTENIA is, I think it's called an African phlox as well as another name for it. These are really new to our area. I haven't seen them anywhere, but the color is fantastic on them. They're kind of a bright pink or a bright purple color, really fantastic mounding habit, and they flower all season long. We've been looking at the trial gardens throughout the country, and they look absolutely fantastic. And I should note that I am trying to add photos in here that are of real plants, not just the perfect ones that the growers provide that maybe have been a little photoshopped and that type of thing. These are actually in the field snapshots of those plants, so you get a good idea of how they grow. This one is a really good flower performer. In fact, we have kind of taken the blue and pink BACOPA off of our inventory list. We're keeping the white BACOPA simply because we don't sell very much of it and it's a slow seller. So this would be an alternative to that. It doesn't have the same trailing properties as BACOPA, but you do get those great colors in there. So if you are looking for one of those blue or pink BACOPAs, this might be an alternative for you to consider. Otherwise, this is just a really nice option for your containers. It fills in, and based on the trial gardens, they just bloom and bloom and bloom. So fantastic addition. Next up is the Biden Sundrop. Now we've carried the Sundrop before, but the improved version has actually bigger flowers. So the Sundrop is a really good addition to hanging baskets and containers. It plays pretty well with other plants. The color is unmatched and it does send up flowers all the time. Loves lots of sun. So it's a really good plant for that. The orange varieties tend to be a little bit more vigorous, at least in our experience they have been. So we're trying a new variety this year that hopefully will play a little nicer with plants and pots and containers, because last year, the one variety we had, if you put it in with anything, by June 1st, it had almost overtaken the plants it was with. So we're trying a new variety and giving that a go, but it's not new to market. So I'm not gonna talk about that one today. The next one is another yellow flower. This is CALYLOPHUS. CALYLOPHUS is a type of Texas primrose. This one is probably the most heat and drought tolerant plant out there that we can get. And it's new to market, so we haven't tried it yet, but I've watched it in the trial gardens, and I do tend to pay attention to trial gardens in Michigan, Minnesota, Pennsylvania, New York, more northern areas, because they're going to have similar conditions to us. The CALYLOPHUS is another one that just keeps blooming. It's called Ladybird Sunglow. So bright yellow flowers, has a really different type of leaf texture, much more feathery. So interesting addition. I'm very curious to see how that one does. Test Gardens made it look like it's going to be a really good performer. Now I'm going to tell you about PENTAS. We're carrying these for the first time. We have two varieties, a pink and a red. The red is the new improved variety, but both of them are new to us. PENTAS are favorites for butterflies. They are just magnets for them. Now, the old PENTAS didn't always have a real consistent blooming. These new varieties do. And if you look at some of the samples photos that I'm showing you, you'll see the photos that the growers provide, of course, are this perfect plant. But when I look at the ones from the trial gardens, they are pretty close. So these are full, and I was looking at them over the summer months, and they were very consistent. So these get flowers all season long. The butterflies are going to love them, and they're really quite attractive colors, that pink and that red. So definitely look at that. Another one on the improved list is a SCAEVOLA. This is the Surdiva Classic White. Now, the Surdiva is one of those SCAEVOLAs that has been outstanding. We had the Surdiva next to, I think it was the Bombay, I think that's the variety it was called, out in some of our containers last year. And although the Bombay got a little bit bigger, the Surdiva was unbelievable how it was just fully covered with flowers the entire summer. You never saw the dead plants. You never had to deadhead it. It just kind of, they call it burying its dead. Just new flowers just keep hiding the old ones. Absolutely gorgeous. And this new improved variety of the white is even better than the old one. More flowers, which is hard to believe. So we're only going with the Surdiva this year. We have a pink, a blue, a violet, and a white. And the white is new and improved. And the great thing about the SCAEVOLAs is they're a little late to start, but once we get to, say, July 1st, they get to full size, and then they kind of stay that size and keep flowering nonstop. And they go right until frost. They are definitely, and they love the hot weather. So they're really good summer ones. You get a lot of color off of those. So good one to consider, and the white is the new improved version of that. Next up is a begonia. Last year we introduced you to the Prism series. It's one of the largest begonias that we've ever carried. The flowers are huge. The plants are a little bit bigger as well. Really, really beautiful. We are so pleased with the performance on those, especially the sunset one had beautiful color on it. Anyway, this year they've introduced a new color. It's called Orange Shades, and it promises to be as good as the other colors that we carried. So we're super thrilled about that one. This is one that, you know, is pretty no nonsense. Begonias in general like to dry out between waterings, and if you do that and don't give them much fertilizer, they're going to be pleased as punch and do well, especially if you have those part sun, part shade areas. They really perform well in those kind of light conditions. But these kind can take a lot of sun and quite a bit of shade as well. So there we go. This year we're trying a new CALLA called Be My First Love. It's from Proven Winners. Now they do have 6 colors of this, but because of the quantities you have to buy, we can really only try one this year. And so we're doing the beautiful pink color that they have. And CALLAs, you know, a lot of times you'll see those in grocery stores. They have a couple flowers and, you know, they're kind of done. This one promises to have more flowers and last a lot longer than those other ones. They are considered wedding quality flowers in the sense that the stalks are really quite hardy on them and good, and you get these nice beautiful colors on them. So we're looking forward to this. We didn't want to get tons of them because we need to make sure that we know how to grow them early on so that they're ready for you to take home. When we try new varieties, we have to be a little cautious with that, and with the high quantities on these, we decided to go strictly with the pink. From all the photos that I found, which there aren't too many because this is such a new variety, they look like they do send up a lot of flowers, and they are nice and dense. When you're dealing with callas, they tend to like to be root bound, so even if you take the pot that they come in and you can plant that pot inside a pot, they'll do fine that way too. You can plant them directly into the soil too, but some people are starting to do that with their callas just to keep them a little more root bound, and it sometimes pushes the growth upward a little bit, so something to consider as well. So I think I'm going to stop it right there, and I'll save some of the other varieties for another video, so that way we kind of divvy it up a little bit and give you a little time to digest all the plants that I just told you about. So subscribe either on YouTube or follow us on Facebook and Instagram to find out when we're posting that next video.